Hey everybody, it's Anna here with Lucky Adventurer. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Helsinki, the capital of Finland, and what are some of the famous sights to see there. And the crowd goes wild! First, before we get started with the Helsinki stuff, I want to tell you the answer to my question from my last episode. The first person to get it correctly in the comments was John J. Vocal. Congrats! Woohoo! Good job! I was in Athens, Greece, and specifically at the Odeon of Herodes Atticus. It was a theater, and it's on the Acropolis where the famous ruins of Parthenon are. The Odeon of Herodes Atticus was built in AD 161, so it's super old. I went there a couple of years ago when I went to Athens, and it was one of my favorite places to see there. This morning I went on a short walk in Glendale, California, and I ran into my friend Eric totally randomly and his awesome dog Baxter, who I love. Before I get started on the Helsinki stuff, I am going to do a cat check. Cat check completed. I'm wearing this Rolling Stone shirt, and I'm not really a fan of Rolling Stones. But the reason I have a couple of Rolling Stone shirts is because my big cat, his name is Jagger. So I kind of feel like, you know, it's an ode to him. We'll get started with the Helsinki stuff. Helsinki is the capital of Finland. Finland has about 5.5 million people, and over 1 million of those people, like a fifth or a quarter of the country, lives in the Helsinki area. So it's the big city. Compared to European cities and American cities, it's not that big. It's right on the coast in Finland. The sea is right in front of Helsinki, the Gulf of Finland, and then that leads to the Baltic Sea. So you can take boats from Helsinki to lots of places. You can go to Tallinn in Estonia, or St. Petersburg in Russia, or you can go to Stockholm in Sweden, or I think even Denmark, Copenhagen. You can take a boat from Helsinki. Some of the boat rides are 2 hours long and some of them take overnight, but yeah, this is the Finnish flag. If you're in Finland and you see the word Suomi, S-U-O-M-I, that actually means Finland in Finnish. So when we talk about Finland, we talk about Suomi. We use euros in Finland. We used to use Finnish marks, but now it's all in the euro. So when you travel, it's really easy to just use euros in most of the European countries. One of my favorite things in Helsinki is the Suomenlinna fortress. It's on an island. It was built super long time ago. It's from the 18th century. Here in LA, it feels like 18th century stuff is really old. Because LA is pretty new. Like my house where I live here, this house was built in 1926. And when people come to my house, they're like, whoa, your house is old. In Finland, my house would be like, whatever. But that's because stuff in Helsinki is generally older, even though I think Finnish people don't think it is. They think that, you know, Central Europe is old, which it is. But for us Americans, Finnish stuff is old. Suomenlinna fortress was put there to protect Helsinki. So it's on an island. If you are in Helsinki, you take a boat to this island and cruise around there and see all these old ruins of the fortress, and you can see the cannons where they protected Helsinki from. And you can see how stuff is built into the earth. So from outside it just looks like it's just grass, but it's really buildings inside. people live in Suomenlinna right now. I remember working on a movie in Finland and some of the crew lived in Suomenlinna, and they always had to figure out the timing of the boats because sometime during the evening the boats stopped going. If they couldn't make that boat, then they couldn't get home that evening at all, and then they would have to stay in Helsinki and get a room. It's wild. Imagine always having a curfew to go home. It's really peaceful and beautiful, so I try it. Really famous buildings there's 3 churches. There's the Helsinki Cathedral, which is white, and it's really, really beautiful. I think that's my favorite. And that one is close to the market square where you can go buy fresh vegetables or fish or whatever during the summer. Also near the market square, there is a market hall that's open year-round, I think. And you can buy the same stuff inside the hall. Near the cathedral, there is also another church that's a Russian-inspired Orthodox church. That one's called Uspensky Cathedral, and it's brown and it's really ornate. So the cathedral, the white one is a Lutheran church and the brown one is an Orthodox church. Those are the 2 biggest religions in Finland. Even though Finnish people really, in my opinion, are not very religious at all. Not that many of them go to church, to be honest, but they still keep the religions alive, you know? Also, a 3rd church that's really cool in Helsinki is inside a rock. It was built inside a rock. It's a round church inside with windows. That one's called Temppelinaukion kirkko. Temple. First part means temple, and aukio is kind of like a square, like a market square type of thing. Aukio. Or like a, yeah, you know, a space. Helsinki also has an amusement park, Linnanmäki. When I was a kid, I used to go there and I thought it was the best thing ever. It was so much fun and everything seemed so big. And now a couple of years ago, I went there and it seemed really small and like it wasn't that big of a deal. It's kind of funny how things change as you grow older. It's there if you want to check it out. Helsinki also has lots of parks. There's so much greenery and trees and woods in Helsinki. It's just filled with that stuff. Even though there's more than 1 million people in the Helsinki area, when you walk around parts of Helsinki, you kind of feel like you're in a countryside because you just see nature. You see trees and water and just beautiful. Also, the question I get a lot from foreigners is that, can you go to the beach in Finland? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like they don't believe me. They think that somehow Finland is so cold that there is no sunlight and you can't go to the beach. But people actually wear bikinis and get a tan in Finland. And yes, there are beaches. Another very cool monument to see is the Sibelius monument. John Sibelius, he was a composer and he composed one of the most famous Finnish songs, the Finlandia hymn. You might have heard it before. This is what it sounds like. He's like the national composer and there is a famous monument made for him. That you can go check out. In Helsinki, it's really easy to use public transportation. There is buses, there is a tram, and then there is the metro. And also regular trains. But I would definitely recommend, if you're sightseeing, I would recommend taking the tram because you can just sit there and then you can see outside. If you take the metro part of the way, you're underground so you don't see anything. Some of the trams have a loop, so you could like get on and to one that does a loop and then just sit on it and get off back where you got on and just see everything. It's cheap, but remember to pay for your ticket because they actually do come and check. And you could get a ticket for not buying a ticket. AKA, you could get a fine for not buying your ticket. Well, I think that covers Helsinki. If you have any questions for me about Helsinki or any other travels that I've done, you can comment below and I promise I check the messages. Here comes the question. Where am I in this picture? Make sure to comment below and in my next video, I will reveal the answer. Also, remember to subscribe and like this video. Bye for now.